My sister-in-law said I was too fat to be in the family wedding photo and told the photographer to crop me out. When I confronted her, she shouted, "It's not about you. You're just the wife of a middle child." My husband just sat there, silent. I left the venue in tears. Until the bride's secret came out in front of everyone at the reception, and I had the mic. I never thought I'd be the one crying in the bathroom during a wedding. But that's exactly where I ended up. Sitting on the cold hotel bathroom floor in Asheville, North Carolina, dress wrinkled, makeup ruined, and hands shaking. I wasn't crying because I spilled wine on myself or broke a heel. I was crying because my sister-in-law, Marissa, looked me dead in the eye and told me I didn't belong in her family's wedding photo because I was too fat. And my husband, her own brother, just stood there and let it happen. Let me take you back to that morning. The wedding was at this fancy vineyard about half an hour outside the city. Real pretty place. White chairs, twinkle lights, barn-style reception hall, the works. I spent all morning helping decorate. I tied ribbons on chairs. I set out candles. I even fixed the damn flower girl's headband 3 times because her mom was too busy taking selfies. Marissa was in full bridezilla mode. Nothing new. She's always been like that, bossy, self-centered, always trying to make everything about her. She's the youngest of 3. Jason, my husband, is the middle child. Their older brother, Scott, flew in from Seattle and stayed quiet most of the time, like he was just trying to get through it. Jason's parents treat Marissa like she walks on water. She's their little princess. Jason has always been the easy one, which means he just goes along with everything to keep the peace, even if it makes him look spineless. Anyway, I was standing off to the side while the photographer started lining everyone up for the big family photo before the ceremony. Jason reached for my hand and started to pull me into the shot. But then Marissa stepped in. "Oh, actually," she said, waving her hand, "can we do just blood family for this one?" I didn't take it personally at first. It's common for families to want a few shots without the in-laws. I nodded, smiled, stepped out of the way. Then I noticed her whispering to the photographer. They both glanced at me. He looked uncomfortable. She looked smug. I waited until the photo was done, then walked over to the photographer. His name was Trent, and he seemed like a decent guy. I asked, "Hey, did Marissa say something about me?" He hesitated. She asked me to crop the photo tighter so that you're not in the final cut." I blinked. "Why?" She said, she said you were throwing off the balance." "The balance?" He looked at his shoes. "She said you stood out too much and that it didn't look right." I was stunned. But I already knew what that meant. I've always been bigger. I wear a size 16. I'm short and curvy, and I don't hide it. I know I'm not a model, but I clean up nice. I wore a navy blue dress, curled my hair, did my makeup. I felt good for once. But apparently, that wasn't enough for Marissa. Or maybe it was too much. I walked up to her and said, "What did you say to the photographer?" She didn't even blink. I asked him to make the shot cleaner. "No offense, but you kind of pulled the focus. I'm Jason's wife. I'm family." She smirked. "You're just the wife of a middle child. This isn't your legacy. These photos are going in our family album, not yours." I just stood there, frozen. I looked at Jason. He was standing by the wine barrel where they set the bouquets. He had heard everything. He looked at me, then looked away. Said nothing. Did nothing. I felt my throat close up. My chest burned. I turned around and walked away. Got into our rental car, drove back to the hotel, and locked myself in the bathroom. I sat there for over an hour, trying to calm down. I cried until my eyes were raw. I couldn't believe I let her make me feel like that. And I couldn't believe Jason, my own husband, didn't even try to defend me. I texted him, "Don't come back to the hotel tonight." He didn't reply. I ordered a sandwich from room service and stared at the wall. It was supposed to be a happy day. I'd tried so hard to help. I'd supported her through all her planning. I even paid for the stupid monogrammed robes she gave her bridesmaids because she forgot to budget for them. Around 9 p.m., Jason texted me, "You should come back. There's something you need to see." At first, I ignored it. Then I saw the second message. "I told the DJ you have a speech." A speech? What the hell was he thinking? But curiosity got the better of me. I changed out of my dress and into a black jumpsuit I had packed just in case I spilled something. I redid my makeup quickly, nothing fancy. Then I drove back. By the time I walked in, they were in the middle of speeches. Toasts mostly. Bridesmaids crying. Groomsmen telling bad jokes. The usual. Then the DJ got on the mic. "All right, we've got one more surprise toast tonight, from the bride's sister-in-law." Everyone turned. The spotlight hit me. Marissa's face dropped. Jason sat frozen at the table. I took the mic. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't write anything down. I just spoke. "I wasn't going to come back tonight," I said, voice steady, eyes on Marissa. "Because earlier, I was told I didn't belong. That I wasn't good enough to be in a photo with this family. That I was just the wife of a middle child." Some people laughed nervously. Some looked around, confused. But then I remembered something I wasn't supposed to see. Marissa's smile twitched. She stood up slightly from her seat. "I was in the dressing room earlier today." Marissa left her phone unlocked. A message popped up from someone named Caleb. Now people were really watching. I read a few of them. One said, "I wish I was the one walking you down the aisle today." Another said, "You're settling, but I know your heart still belongs to me." "And you, Marissa?" You replied, "You'll always have my heart. This wedding is just a formality." Someone gasped. I think it was her mom. Marissa shouted, "You don't know what you're talking about." I kept going. I screenshotted the messages. I sent them to myself, in case I needed proof. Then I turned and looked at Derek, the groom. He was staring at Marissa like he'd been slapped. Everyone was quiet. No music, no clinking glasses, nothing. I finished with this. If I'm just the wife of a middle child, at least I married someone who loved me for real. Then I gave the mic back to the DJ and walked out. I didn't plan to stay and watch the chaos unfold. But I didn't get far. As I stepped outside into the gravel lot, I heard footsteps behind me. Fast ones. Jason. He caught up, breathing hard. "Wait. Just wait." I turned around slowly. "What?" "You didn't have to do that," he said, eyes wide, hands out like he was trying to calm a fire. "I didn't have to?" I repeated. "She humiliated me in front of your whole family, Jason. She told me I didn't belong, and you just stood there." He ran a hand through his hair. I didn't know what to say. That's always your excuse. You never know what to say. So you just stay quiet while your sister slices people open with a smile. He looked hurt, but I didn't care. "Not tonight." "She's your sister," he said weakly. "And I'm your wife." Silence. Then, from behind him, we heard shouting. "Derek!" He stormed out of the reception hall, his tie half off, his face red with rage. "Is it true?" he yelled across the lot. "Tell me it's not true, Marissa." I turned. Marissa had followed us outside. She was barefoot, holding her heels in one hand and her phone in the other. Her veil was slipping off the side of her head. She looked like a ghost version of the girl who had started the day glowing. "Derek, please," she said, voice cracking. "It wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that," I cut in. "I read the messages." Marissa shot me a look like she wanted to rip my throat out. "You're just bitter because you don't have what I have." I laughed. "You mean a sham marriage and a folder of secrets?" "No thanks." Jason was still just standing there, mouth slightly open like he couldn't believe this was real. Then Derek turned to him. "Did you know?" he asked. Jason blinked. "No. Not until tonight." Derek looked at me. "Can I see the texts?" I nodded. Pulled out my phone, scrolled to the screenshots, handed it over. He scrolled and scrolled. His face got tighter and tighter. Then he tossed the phone back to me, turned to Marissa, and said, "I want the ring back." Marissa's jaw dropped. "You're joking." "I'm dead serious." Her voice turned shrill. "You're going to let her ruin our wedding day?" He stared at her. "You already did that." And with that, he turned and walked to his car, slammed the door, drove off. Marissa just stood there, heels dangling from her fingers, mascara streaks on her cheeks. Her mom came running out seconds later, asking what had happened. She didn't answer. Then she spun toward me. "You ruined everything." "No," I said, "you did that all by yourself." "I just stopped hiding it." She tried to lunge at me, but Jason stepped in front. Finally, the one useful thing he did all night. "Don't," he told her. "This is over." She looked stunned. "You're taking her side?" Jason nodded slowly. "Yeah, I should have done it years ago." Marissa backed away, muttering something about lawyers and family betrayal. Her mother pulled her back inside. I stood there in the parking lot, breathing hard, heart pounding. Jason looked at me. "Why didn't you tell me about the messages earlier?" "Because I didn't think it was my place. But after what she said to me today, I changed my mind." He nodded, quiet for a second. "I'm sorry," he said. "Too late," I replied. He didn't argue. 2 days later, the family chat exploded. I was already home, back in our small house in Knoxville, Tennessee. I hadn't spoken to Jason since we got back. We rode home in silence. I stared out the window the whole drive, thinking about how fast everything had fallen apart and how long it had really been crumbling before that. Then, Monday morning, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Marissa had posted a statement on Instagram. A long, dramatic post with a black and white photo of her in her wedding dress, alone in the vineyard. The caption read, "Sometimes people can't handle your shine. Sometimes envy comes from your own family." I was betrayed on the most important day of my life, but I still walked forward with grace. I won't let hate win. The comments were full of support. People calling her so strong, so beautiful, and saying jealousy is a disease. But then something else happened. A guy named Caleb commented. The same Caleb from the text messages. His comment was simple, "Tell the whole truth." And then he posted a screenshot in the replies, Marissa, in her own words, saying, "Derek is safe. You're real. One day, it'll be us." Then he tagged Derek. All hell broke loose. Marissa tried to delete the comment, but people had already screen recorded it. It got reshared, stitched, reposted. Family members started chiming in. Derek's cousin posted on Facebook. "Can't believe I flew across the country to watch a lie in a white dress." But the worst was still coming. Turns out, Caleb isn't just some ex-boyfriend. He's Jason's ex-friend. They used to be tight in college, roommates even. But something happened, and they stopped talking. Jason always said it was complicated. Well, now it wasn't. I was sitting at the kitchen table when Jason came home from work and dropped a folder on the counter. "I need to tell you something," he said. I opened the folder. Inside were printed copies of old emails, screenshots, notes. "Marissa's been talking to Caleb for years," he said quietly. "Since before Derek even proposed. And back in college, I found out they slept together behind my back. That's why I stopped being friends with him." I looked up. "She was with Caleb while he was your friend?" "Yeah. She told me they were just flirting. I didn't know until after we graduated." I confronted Caleb. He admitted it. I cut him off. "Why didn't you tell Derek?" "Because she begged me not to. Said it would ruin everything. Said she was young and stupid and that it would never happen again." I was quiet. Let it sink in. "So why now?" I asked. "Why tell me this now?" Jason looked tired. Older than he did a week ago. "Because you were right. I stood there and watched her treat you like garbage. I've watched her treat everyone like garbage for years. I thought staying quiet was the same as staying out of it. But it's not." I stared at the papers. She said you were just the wife of a middle child, I said. He nodded. Well, this middle child's finally done playing peacekeeper. After Jason dropped that folder on the counter, something shifted in me. I realized we were both guilty, me for staying quiet all these years, pretending Marissa was just annoying when she was actually cruel, and him for letting it go unchecked. We had both let her walk all over us in different ways. But this time, we weren't backing down. The next day, I printed the screenshots of the texts, the emails, the comment thread, everything, and I mailed copies to Derek's office. He was a real estate attorney in Asheville, and I found the address online. I also mailed a copy to Marissa's parents. No return address. No name. Just the truth in black and white. 2 days later, Jason's phone rang. It was his mom. He put it on speaker. How dare you, she spat. You ruined your sister's marriage. Do you even care what this has done to our family? Jason stayed calm. She did that herself, Mom. You always hated her, she snapped. You married that woman who's jealous of her because she could never be like Marissa. I leaned in. Hi, Carol. Just so we're clear, I've never wanted to be like your daughter. I actually like sleeping at night without lies on my chest. Click. She hung up. We didn't hear from them again for 3 weeks. Then Derek showed up at our door. He looked worn out but calm. He handed Jason an envelope. It was a handwritten thank you letter. He said, I would have stayed married to someone who never loved me if it weren't for that mic drop. He looked at me. You didn't just save me. You woke up a lot of people. Turned out Marissa tried to spin the whole thing, said I doctored the screenshots, blamed Caleb for stalking her, even claimed she was hacked. But the evidence was too much. Her story fell apart. Derek filed for an annulment. Her parents were humiliated. Their perfect image shattered. And Marissa? She lost everything in 1 weekend. Her new last name. Her Instagram deals. Half her friends. The wedding photographer even refused to send her edited photos after she called him a traitor. But it didn't end there. I wrote a Reddit post under a throwaway account, just to get it off my chest. It went viral. Thousands of comments. People shared it all over. Even made TikToks about it. Marissa tried to sue me for defamation. But Jason still had the original screenshots. Caleb backed everything up. She dropped the case when her own lawyer told her she had no shot. And Jason and I, we started marriage counseling. We had hard talks. Ugly ones. I told him I almost walked out. That part of me still wanted to. He asked for one last chance to prove he wasn't the man who stood there silently while I got cut out of his family photo. I gave him that chance. Not because I forgave everything, but because I finally saw him fight. Now, months later, our marriage is stronger. But I don't speak to Marissa. Not ever. And every time I walk past that wedding photo, yes, the real one the photographer sent me directly, with me standing right there, front and center, I remember the moment I took the mic and took back my voice. Marissa wanted to erase me from the picture. Instead, she erased herself from her own life. And I was the one who helped her do it,